Hey there, y'all. Welcome. It recently occurred to me that I don't think I've actually explained to you all how I lost 50 pounds during COVID, and that might be of interest, especially if you are a potential client of mine thinking about hiring me to help you. It's always good to know a little bit about what worked for me, because that's going to give you some clues into what I teach and how I help people lose weight. I have mentioned before that a lot of how I lost the weight came from my experience going through training with the Life Coach School. Now, I was already a trained coach. I'd been through financial fitness certification. I'd been coaching since 2018, but I was very impressed with the results I was seeing graduates from the Life School get for themselves and for their clients. And I was very intrigued by how they talked about things, how they approached programs. So I decided, what the heck? I'm going to go ahead and invest almost $20,000 in the training and see what's going on here. So, as a part of that, Brooke started her career as a weight coach. I went through her weight training materials, lost 50 pounds. But what was it in those materials that really flipped the switch for me? And it was a couple of different concepts, many of which I've taught you here on video. I teach my clients as part of Weight University, my 4-month long program to help people lose weight. But I'm going to give you kind of a recap of the main points that I think made the biggest difference. Probably the number one biggest point was the concept of buffering. Now, this is the idea that we are not taught what to do when we're in an unpleasant emotional state, other than go find some external substance to take in to solve that problem. And a lot of times this happens very subconsciously, unconsciously. We may not even realize that we're in discomfort because we jump to the solution so quickly. So what I had done, shortly after graduated college, I started working. I was not a good fit in corporate America. I think a lot of people are not comfortable there. And so to make myself feel better at the end of the day, to kind of transition from being unhappy at work to getting to come home, I would stop and go shopping, mostly clothes shopping, bought some cute stuff. Target was a good one too. They always have like crazy little impulse things that I could buy, give myself a little dose of happy brain chemicals. The problem with that, and this is what makes it buffering, is that it had a net negative consequence, namely, in my case, credit card debt. So I went through a whole process of really learning about money, cleaning up my money mindset, paying off the debt, building up savings, investing for retirement, and out of that, we became self-made millionaires. But I had not really truly solved the root cause of the problem, which was when I subconsciously was not feeling good, I subconsciously was looking for a solution. So just to overshare and be totally candid, when I stopped doing that with shopping, I started doing that with wine. Now, I never got a DUI. I never got fired from a job from drinking. I did put a really nasty stain on a rug one time, but you just shift the carpet, put that spot under the chair. It's not a problem, right? And this is, again, very culturally accepted. We talk about mommy's wine time and, wine on the porch. And again, there's nothing wrong with that if you're the kind of person who does it in moderation. There's no net negative consequences. But for a lot of us, if we're using a substance to feel better, we need more of it over time, right? The body turns down the receptors because it's getting so overwhelmed by that substance and giving you so much of the happy reaction that then you need more of it to get more of the happy reaction. So it went from like a glass of wine Friday night with dinner to maybe a bottle of wine in front of the TV Thursday night. And I think especially as you get older, not a cute look. And also as you get older, at least in my experience, and I don't think it's just me, I used to be able to go out in college, go party on a Thursday night, get up for an 8 o'clock class Friday morning. Well, now I could drink wine on a Thursday night and still kind of be hungover on Monday. Was not feeling good. And again, a lot of this was going on at a very subconscious level, but my husband doesn't drink. He hasn't for a long time. So it was not a cute look. He was not enjoying the experience of having drunk wife at home during the week. So I stopped drinking. And at that point, it moved to eating. As a matter of fact, there was one point that I vividly remember. This was in our Smyrna house. We had a corner cabinet that was full of chocolate. And I had gotten a bunch of chocolate on sale the day after Valentine's Day because now I'm frugal. But it was a weird amount of chocolate and I was eating a weird amount of it. And my husband said to me at the time, he's like, what's up with all the chocolate? You're having a lot of chocolate. I was like, I'm stopping drinking right now. This seems to be what I'm doing instead. Leave me alone. Right? I'm not getting drunk. But again, subconsciously, I wasn't even consciously aware I wasn't feeling good, but subconsciously I wasn't feeling good. And so subconsciously I was reaching for that chocolate as an external substance to solve an internal problem. So needless to say, the weight had kind of been creeping up ever since I went to college. I would find things that worked temporarily. I did Weight Watchers for a while. I did Jenny Craig for a while. I did a high intensity boot camp for a while, but I was only changing what I was doing, not who I was being. So I was being someone who used food as a drug and then doing exercise to compensate for it. So when I cut out the exercise, I kept being that same person who used food as a drug to feel better, and the weight came right back. And this is what I see with so many of my clients, my potential clients as well, right? Women in their 40s, we know everything to do. What we don't know is why it's so hard to do it, what's getting in the way. Because again, a lot of this is going on beneath the level of conscious awareness. Now, some of y'all are aware because I talk to people who will tell me, oh yeah, I'm a stress eater, I'm an emotional eater. But I wasn't aware at all what I was doing until I went to the life coach school and they taught this concept of buffering. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing, right? Something happens, I'm not feeling good. I want a buffer between myself and, my feelings, the harsh reality of life, whatever it was. And so at that point, it was food. So I figure out what's going on, go through a lot of the other concepts in the life coach school training, get myself on a protocol. So not a diet, but just a healthy pattern of eating that's kind of my default. I make exceptions every now and then, but if you leave me alone, kind of what I eat by default is more healthy now. And I am eating much more for fuel than I am for entertainment or for comfort or for any of the other reasons that people who are more than 40 pounds overweight are eating. So that was the biggest change that I made, is that understanding around what I was doing was buffering. They gave it a name. And they also gave me some tools that I could use instead of buffering to make myself feel better, right? So some 0-calorie ways to solve the problem. So coaching is a big one. And in my mind, I think there's a certain amount of stress that's just an effect of daily living, and maybe that anyone in your circumstances would feel. There's a certain amount of stress that I think is just temperament, right? Like, I don't care how many meditation retreats you go to. Some people are just naturally more chill than others. But there's this third layer of stress that we are creating with our minds and that we can eliminate with our minds. And that piece is what I really work on with coaching, right? So maybe we can't change the circumstances of life, but we can think about those circumstances differently. We can think about ourselves in those circumstances differently, give ourselves a little kindness. So again, right, for my stress eaters and my emotional eaters, if you bring down the stress, if you deal with the emotion, that makes a huge difference. So that's one of the tools that I use. Another tool that I use, I actually heard from Kristen St. Germain. I don't know if she created it or if she heard it somewhere else, but I actually heard her talking about it through some materials I have from the Life Coach School, and she calls it the now method. So it's really just a way to kind of feel our feelings, because here's the crazy thing. A lot of times when we figure out how to deal with the physical sensations of our emotions, we realize oh, that wasn't that bad, right? Now, I'll admit, I don't do this all the time. There's probably still a little too much chocolate in my life, but it's so much less than what it was because I have these other tools now to cope. So, a certain baseline level of self care that helps to cancel out that baseline level of stress of modern living. Tools so that when I do have an unhappy feeling, I have a non food way to deal with it. Coaching to change the thinking so I don't create so many stressful feelings. Some other techniques, I actually just this past weekend got trained in emotional freedom techniques. So that's something that I'm going to be bringing into my practice to help my clients with cravings, with weight loss, with, again, the stress and the emotion. This certificate, on this side is actually for theta healing. And that's another technique and tool that I've been trained in. I've taken several classes in that now. And that, if you're into woo-woo, it's more kind of energy healing. It's a way to access the subconscious mind, change the limiting beliefs, change things around identity. So some of my clients may have a limiting belief that, my whole family is overweight and I will always be overweight and there's nothing I can do about it. That's the kind of thing that we can get in and change with the theta healing, the limiting belief. EFT helps with a lot of those kind of things as well. So a lot of tools that I work with on myself, that I help my clients with. And I also really help them with all or nothing thinking. A lot of my clients are really perfectionists. If I can't do it perfectly, then just forget it. I'm out. So we talk about that a lot too. And we focus really on progress, not perfection. You get to the last 20 pounds, you might need to worry about perfection. I'll let you know when I've done it. Up until that point, for sure. Right? You can get within 20 pounds of your goal and still do some emotional eating, still do some buffering, still have too much chocolate. You can do that. So you don't have to give up all the things you love in order to lose weight. You don't have to give up all the things that you're using as emotional crutches to lose weight, but to progress in that direction, you will see physical results. So I hope that's interesting and helpful to you. If you would like to take some time to tell me about your specific situation, what's going on with you, see whether or not my tools and my program would be a fit for you, email me. That's my favorite way to get in touch with people because I'm old school. And my email address is lisa@lisaduke.net. If you want to get some more information before you do that, check out my website at lisaduke.net. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Lisa Duke STS for Simplified Technology Solutions. That's our consulting business. I'm on Facebook. I have a business page out there, lots of videos here on YouTube. So I just would like to invite you, get to know me better. And when you feel comfortable, reach out for a one-on-one consultation. If you are a fit for my program, fear not. You only have to pay 1 month at a time. It's $395 for unlimited support for the entire month. All the training materials, all the articles, all the worksheets that you can either do or not do that are there to support you, and the weekly live one-on-one coaching, consulting, theta healing, EFT, now technique for dealing with emotion. Did I already say coaching? All of those tools that I've been trained in that we can bring to bear to help you. And you don't have to worry about losing your money if you're the one person that just physically cannot lose weight. If you complete my entire program and you are unhappy up to a year later after completing the program, I will give you your money back. My goal here is not to trick people into working with me, rip them off, take their money. I know if you're like me, you have tried all the things, you're not sure this is the thing for you, give it a shot. If you're not happy 6, 8, 11, 12 months later, just shoot me an email. I'll give you your money back. At this point, honestly, I care a lot more about my reputation, about my referral network, about people having a good experience than I care about, trying to grab one person's dollar. So I do like to get paid for my work. And also, I want you to get value out of the transaction. So email me, lisa@lisaduke.net. It is time. It is. That's why you're watching this. So let's work together. I'll see you soon. Bye.